Listen carefully, because this next stat should scare the crap out of you. As of the most recent data, nearly 50% of Americans aged 55 to 66 have zero retirement savings. Zero. Nothing. Not a dollar in a 401k, not a dime in an IRA, and no clue how they're going to survive the next 30 years. If you think Social Security is going to save you, think again. It's projected to slash payouts by 23% in just 7 years. And don't get too comfortable if you do have savings, because inflation is erasing your purchasing power faster than your portfolio can grow. Boomers are walking into retirement broke, in debt, overconfident, and they don't even know it yet. In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 biggest mistakes that are destroying retirements in 2026. If you're over 50 and still working, this might be your last chance to get it right. And if you're under 50, watch carefully, because this is exactly how your parents' retirement crisis becomes your burden. Before we dive in, drop a comment below and let me know. Are you already retired, planning to retire soon, or still grinding it out in the workforce? I want to know who's watching, because these mistakes hit differently depending on where you're standing. Let's go. Number 5. Thinking you'll just work longer instead of saving more. You're not going to just work longer to make up for not saving enough for retirement. That little plan you cooked up in your head? Yeah, that's about as stable as a ladder made of cooked spaghetti. Because here's what the stats actually say. Most people don't even get the chance to work as long as they think they will. According to the Employee Benefit Research Institute, a full 48% of retirees leave the workforce earlier than planned, mostly due to health problems, layoffs, or needing to care for a spouse or family member. You can plan on working until you're 70, but if your back decides to quit at 62, or your company merges with some corporate hydra and axes your whole department, that's it. There is no plan B. And here's where the boomer optimism really backfires. This belief that work will always be available, that experience will always be rewarded, and that your resume alone will land you a job at 68. That's not how the modern job market works. The cruel reality? Ageism is thriving. According to AARP, nearly 2 out of 3 workers age 50 and older have seen or experienced age discrimination. Employers are hiring younger talent not because they're smarter, spoiler, they're not, but because they're cheaper. They don't need health benefits or years of accrued vacation time. And while boomers are banking on staying in the workforce, guess what? Only 19% of people over age 65 are working today, and those numbers are plateauing, not climbing. Why? Because employers just aren't hiring seniors the way they think they are. Now let's say you do find work in your 60s. Chances are, it's not your old 6-figure job in middle management. No, it's a side hustle, a part-time gig, something in retail, or worse, rideshare driving with a bad hip and a bladder that can't survive the Uber queue. You won't be maxing out a 401k at that point. You'll be maxing out your ability to stand for 4 hours. And let's not forget how working longer also assumes you'll have good health, low expenses, and no family emergencies. I've got bad news for you. 2026 healthcare costs are expected to climb another 6.5%, according to PwC's Health Research Institute. That's higher than inflation. So your bones are getting creakier, your meds are getting pricier, and yet your plan is to keep showing up for work like it's 1984? Look, I get it. Boomers are proud. They want to feel useful. But banking your entire retirement on a job that may not exist, for a body that might give out, in an economy that is always one black swan away from collapse, that's not a plan. That's a fantasy. What you should be doing is overfunding your retirement accounts now while you can. Ramp up your 401k contributions. Take advantage of catch-up contributions if you're over 50. Open a Roth IRA and fill that thing up like it's your doomsday bunker. If you have a high-deductible health plan, max out that HSA too. It's a triple tax shelter. And yes, it can be used in retirement for medical expenses. Bottom line, the sooner you stop fooling yourself into thinking, I'll just work longer, the sooner you can take control of your retirement. Because guess what? The future doesn't care about your plans. It only rewards preparation. Number 4, underestimating the true cost of healthcare and retirement. It's not just the candles on your birthday cake that keep multiplying, it's your medical bills. You want to talk about a financial horror story? Let's talk about healthcare and retirement, because this is the budget killer that turns millionaires into Medicaid recipients faster than you can say co-pay. Boomers, bless your trusting hearts. have been told for decades that Medicare will take care of you. That once you hit 65, it's all smooth sailing through the pearly gates of government-sponsored healthcare. But that couldn't be more wrong if it were printed on a Nigerian prince's email. In 2026, the average 65-year-old couple will need $351,000 in after-tax dollars just to cover healthcare expenses through retirement, according to Fidelity. And that doesn't even include long-term care. That's just premiums, co-pays, deductibles, and the full circus of medical madness we now call routine care. Think you won't need that much? Think again. The moment you retire, your body throws a party and doesn't invite you. Knees give out, eyes fog up, your cholesterol becomes your full-time job. And prescription drugs? Don't even get me started. Americans already pay more for medications than any other country on earth. And for boomers, the average annual out-of-pocket cost for prescription drugs is $4,096 per person, according to KFF. Multiply that by 2 if you're married and plan on sticking around for a while. You also better factor in dental and vision. Because guess what? Medicare doesn't cover either. You'll be paying out of pocket for every crown, bridge, and bifocal you need. Now let's add in long-term care, the elephant in the room that everyone's pretending isn't charging them $8,000 a month in a memory care facility. According to Genworth, the median annual cost for a private room in a nursing home in 2025 was $113,000. That's per year. And 70% of people over age 65 will need some form of long-term care. Will Medicare cover it? Only if you're hospitalized and broke. So unless your retirement plan includes qualify for Medicaid by losing everything, you better get real about this. This is where I see boomers fall hardest. Not because they didn't save at all, but because they didn't save enough for the right things. Healthcare is not a luxury in retirement. It's a second mortgage. It's the line item that swells every year and never goes away. And the worst part? It's unpredictable. You could be healthy as a horse until 82 and then need a $90,000 knee replacement followed by 2 years of rehab. Or you could get hit with chronic conditions earlier than expected, like type 2 diabetes or Alzheimer's, both of which are exploding in prevalence. Now what can you do? Well, for starters, look into long-term care insurance, but do it before you turn 65, or the premiums will be higher than Snoop Dogg on a Friday night. Also, max out your health savings account, HSA, if you're eligible. It's the only account that offers triple tax advantages. And if you're already retired or too close to retirement to fix this with savings, you need to start budgeting like a pro. Review every insurance option annually. Consider Medicare Advantage only if you understand the trade-offs. And for the love of your future bank account, stop assuming you'll just be healthy. Hope is not a plan, and aging is not optional. Number 3. Claiming Social Security too early and locking in poverty for life. Look, I get it. You're 62, you've worked your tail off for 4 decades, and you're staring at that Social Security Claim Now button like it's a golden ticket to freedom. It's tempting, I know. But pushing that button too early? That's not a ticket to freedom. It's a trapdoor into financial quicksand. And once you fall in, there's no climbing out. Let's break this down because most boomers are about to make one of the biggest irreversible financial mistakes of their lives by claiming Social Security benefits too early. The difference between claiming at age 62 and waiting until 70 is massive. We're not talking peanuts here. If your full retirement age is 67 and you file at 62, you're locking in a 30% permanent reduction in your monthly benefits for life. Meanwhile, if you wait until age 70, you get a 24% increase. That's a 54% swing between the earliest and latest claiming age. Do the math. If your full retirement benefit is $2,000 per month, you're either getting $400 forever, or you could be banking $12,480 every single month by waiting. Over a 20-year retirement, that's more than $250,000 difference. That's not chump change. That's the difference between having a cushion and clipping coupons to afford dental floss. And don't tell me, well, I might die early. Sure, maybe you will. But what if you don't? What if you live to 85 or 95? Because here's the kicker. Longevity is increasing, especially for women. According to the Social Security Administration, 1 in 3 65-year-olds today will live past age 90, and 1 in 7 will live past 95. If you're a healthy boomer and you have longevity in your family, you're almost betting against yourself by claiming early. And the longer you live, the more you'll regret that smaller check. Now here's where it gets even more dangerous: retiring early and claiming early. This double whammy is like taking your financial future out behind the woodshed. Because when you retire early, you stop contributing to your retirement accounts at the exact moment when your investments should be compounding the fastest. Then you pile on a permanently reduced Social Security income, and boom, you've just locked yourself into a bare-bones lifestyle for potentially 30-plus years. Inflation is going up, healthcare is going up, housing is going up, and your income? Flatlined. Worse, most people don't realize that Social Security was never designed to be your only retirement income. It was created back in 1935 when the average life expectancy was 61 and retirement age was 65. It was a nice idea then. Work until you croak, then collect a few checks. But now, it's the foundation of most people's retirement plans. And that foundation is cracked. In fact, Social Security's own trustees project that the trust fund will be depleted by 2033, at which point it'll only be able to pay 77% of scheduled benefits. You want to claim early and get a haircut later? Be my guest. But don't say nobody warned you. Here's what smart boomers are doing. They're treating Social Security like an asset, something to be optimized, not rushed into. They're using bridge strategies like part-time work, side hustles, or drawing down from retirement savings so they can delay their claim and maximize their check. And if you're married, this gets even more important, because when one spouse dies, the survivor gets the higher of the two benefits. That means delaying your claim can protect your spouse from financial ruin down the road. This isn't just about you. It's about legacy, protection, and dignity. So, before you go hitting that Claim Now button like you're ordering a cheeseburger, stop and run the numbers. Talk to a fee-only financial advisor. Use the SSA's online estimator. Plug in different retirement ages. See the difference in black and white. Because once you file, it's done. There's no redo, no takebacks. You better be sure that smaller check can carry you through inflation, market downturns, housing shocks, and medical crises. Claiming early is like throwing a life raft overboard in a hurricane because you think the storm's over. But in retirement, the storm has just begun. The question is, will your income float or will you sink? Number 2, ignoring the hidden risk of sequence of returns, retiring into a market crash. The single biggest retirement killer that nobody talks about until it's already destroyed your nest egg, sequence of returns risk. Don't let the nerdy name fool you. This isn't some abstract Wall Street concept. This is the silent assassin of your retirement plan. And if you're a boomer retiring in 2026, you are walking right into the jaws of it without even realizing it. This one mistake, it doesn't just mess up your portfolio, it rewrites your entire future. I'm talking about being 74, out of money, and Googling how to make money on Etsy with arthritis. So what is it exactly? Sequence of returns risk is what happens when you experience major market losses in the early years of retirement, right when you start withdrawing money from your portfolio. Sounds harmless enough, right? Wrong. Because when you pull money out during a market downturn, you're not just selling investments at a loss. You're locking in those losses permanently, and you're giving your portfolio no time to recover. That's why two people can have the exact same average return over 30 years and yet have wildly different outcomes depending on when those returns hit. Retiree A gets good returns early and lives like a king. Retiree B gets hit with a recession in year 1 and runs out of money before their Medicare card warms up. Let's put some hard numbers on this. Say you retire with $1 million and plan to withdraw 4% a year. That's $40,000. If the market tanks 30% in year 1, like it did in 2008, your portfolio drops to $700,000 before you even touch it. Withdraw $40,000 from that, and now you're down to $660,000. You'll need nearly a 52% return just to get back to where you started. And here's the kicker: you're withdrawing again next year. That's how portfolios implode silently, even if the market recovers eventually. It's like trying to bail water out of a sinking boat while the leak is getting worse. And folks, 2026 is primed for disaster. The S&P 500 is sitting at record valuations. The Fed is still juggling inflation and interest rates like flaming swords. And the geopolitical landscape is one Twitter thread away from global panic. We've got rising bond yields, a housing correction in progress, and artificial intelligence disrupting entire industries overnight. If you think this is a safe time to retire, you're kidding yourself. History shows that retiring into a bear market has long-term consequences, even if things bounce back 5 years later. According to Morningstar, retirees who encountered negative returns in their first 5 years had up to a 70% higher chance of running out of money compared to those who didn't. So what should you do? You need a buffer strategy, something to protect you in those early years when every dollar withdrawn is precious. That could be a cash bucket, 1 to 2 years of expenses in a high-yield savings account, short-term bond ladders, or even a line of credit against your home that you only tap when the market is down. The point is, you want to give your investments time to recover instead of forcing them to bleed out. Another option? Delay retirement altogether, or ease into it with part-time work so you can leave your portfolio untouched longer. Every year you delay withdrawals is a year your nest egg gets to heal and grow. And for the love of compound interest, don't go 100% stocks at age 65. That's not aggressive investing. That's financial skydiving without a parachute. You need a well-diversified mix: stocks for growth, bonds for stability, cash for flexibility. And above all, you need a decumulation plan just as detailed as your accumulation strategy. If you spent 40 years building your wealth without a plan to protect it, you didn't invest, you gambled. Retirement isn't just about having a big number in your Fidelity account. It's about making that number last, and that means protecting it, especially in the first 5 years. So unless your retirement dream includes becoming a DoorDash driver with a hip replacement, get serious about sequence risk. Because this mistake, it won't just ruin your portfolio. It'll rewrite your entire retirement. Number 1, retiring with debt and pretending it's normal. There is no easier way to blow up your entire retirement plan, no faster path to stress, regret, and ramen noodles at 75 than walking into your golden years with debt. I'm talking about credit cards, car loans, lingering student debt, personal loans, and yes, even mortgages. Because retiring with any of it in 2026 is like setting your retirement savings on fire and roasting your peace of mind over the ashes. Yet that's exactly what millions of boomers are doing. The shocking reality? According to the Federal Reserve, over 60% of Americans aged 65 and older carry some form of debt, and the average debt load for people aged 60 to 70 is $70,633, not including mortgages. And mortgages? Oh, we're talking 43% of boomers still making monthly payments on a house they were supposed to have paid off by now. And let's be honest, this isn't just bad math. It's financial delusion wrapped in optimism and duct tape. Debt in retirement doesn't just take a little bite out of your income. It devours it whole. Every dollar you send to Visa or Wells Fargo is a dollar that doesn't go toward groceries, medication, travel, helping your grandkids, or surviving a medical emergency. And unlike when you were working, you're not replenishing your income with a steady paycheck. You're on fixed income, Social Security, and hopefully some savings, which means debt becomes a cancer that spreads fast. And boomers aren't just carrying debt, they're normalizing it. They've convinced themselves that a car payment is just the price of modern living, that everyone has a little credit card debt, and that a mortgage in your 70s is fine as long as the interest rate is low. But let's cut the crap. Debt in retirement is a symptom of lifestyle inflation, denial, and poor planning. You can't live like you're still 45 when your body and budget are both 67. And don't even get me started on Parent Plus loans. According to the Department of Education, 3.7 million Americans over 60 owe student loan debt, and many of them took it on to help their kids. That's noble. But if you're choosing between paying Sally Mae or buying your insulin, it stops being noble and starts being reckless. And here's where it gets even worse: rising interest rates. Boomers with variable rate debt are now paying double-digit APRs on balances they once thought were manageable. That credit card you meant to just float for a few months? It's now charging you 28.99% APR, and your minimum payment barely covers the interest. Retirement was supposed to be about freedom, not financing purchases you made 5 years ago. And here's the thing. Most people don't realize how dangerous this is until it's too late. You wake up one day and your Social Security check is gone before the 10th of the month. You're skipping dental appointments, skipping birthday gifts for your grandkids, and skipping vacations forever. You thought you were going to age gracefully, but instead, you're aging with anxiety, watching your nest egg shrink while your debt just sits there like an unpaid house guest. So what's the fix? You get aggressive, now. If you're still working, make killing your debt your full-time job. Sell the second car, get rid of the timeshare, downsize your house, slash every subscription. Start living like your future depends on it, because it does. And if you're already retired with debt, you need to make a brutal plan. Call a financial advisor. Get a budget so tight it squeaks. If necessary, take a part-time job. Not because you failed, but because you refuse to fall. Because here's the truth. You cannot have peace and debt at the same time in retirement. You have to pick one. And if you don't pick peace now, debt will choose misery for you later. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Because now you know what most boomers still don't. Retirement isn't just about age. It's about math, timing, and brutal honesty. And in 2026, the cost of getting this wrong is higher than it's ever been. The truth is, most people won't fix these mistakes. They'll keep spending too much, saving too little, retiring too early, and lying to themselves about how long the money will last. And they'll find out the hard way, when it's too late to do anything about it. But if you're watching this video right now, you still have a window. If you're over 50, the next 5 years are critical. Get serious. Eliminate debt. Delay Social Security if you can. Build a real decumulation strategy. And if you're under 50, start preparing now, because you're going to inherit more than your parents' last name. You'll inherit their retirement crisis if you're not careful. Now, I want you to share this video with one person you care about. Just one. Because if they're not hearing this from you, they're definitely not hearing it from their financial advisor or their broke friends on Facebook. And make sure you hit that like button so YouTube pushes this video to more people who need it. Because let's be real, most Americans are not ready for what's coming. Subscribe for more brutally honest breakdowns like this one, and drop a comment below. What's the one mistake you've seen people make with retirement that absolutely blows your mind? Let's make this a conversation, because we don't learn by pretending everything's fine. We learn by facing the hard truth and doing something about it. I'll see you in the next one. And hopefully, I won't see you driving Uber at 73. Take care.